I spent years chasing shadows, a documentarian obsessed with the things that hide in the blank spaces of our maps. My specialty. Cryptids. Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster, you name it. I've probably camped out in the rain waiting for it. But my holy grail was always the sylphwing, a creature said to live deep within the untouched forests of the Pacific Northwest. Described in local folklore as a massive, feathered feline with wings that shimmered like oil on water. It was a myth too beautiful to ignore. So, I packed my gear, said goodbye to civilization, and ventured into the Emerald Labyrinth where it was said to dwell. For the first week, the forest was just a forest. Majestic, yes, but silent. I documented everything: the ancient trees, draped in moss, the eerie calls of unfamiliar birds, the way the light filtered through the canopy like a stained glass window. I set up my camera traps, baited with everything from salmon to synthetic pheromones based on big cat biology. I was patient. In my line of work, you have to be. The forest watches you long before it shows you anything. I'd find tracks too large for any known predator, claw marks 10 feet up a redwood, small signs, whispers that I was on the right path. The first real breakthrough came on day 9. I was reviewing drone footage, sipping lukewarm coffee, when I saw it. A flicker. I rewound, zoomed in, and my heart hammered against my ribs. It was a shape, soaring between two colossal firs. Too fast for a bird, too large for anything I could explain. It was therefore only a few frames, a blur of bronze and green, but it was enough. The sylphwing was real. My obsession cranked into overdrive. I moved my base camp deeper, following the direction of its flight path, pushing myself to the brink. Days turned into a week, then 2. The forests became more active. I'd hear deep, guttural purrs that vibrated through the ground at night. Sometimes I'd wake up to find a perfectly cleaned deer carcass just outside my camp, a clear offering. I wasn't just observing anymore. I felt like I was being observed, tested. The camera trap started capturing more. A glimpse of a feathered tail disappearing behind a rock. A massive, cat-like eye, glowing amber in the infrared, staring directly into the lens before the feed cut out. It was a game of cat and mouse, and I wasn't sure which one I was. Then came the storm. It rolled in without warning, a furious tempest that turned the forest into a churning sea of wind and rain. A falling branch, thick as my thigh, crashed through my tent, destroying most of my equipment and my only radio. I was stranded, injured, with a nasty gash on my leg. Hypothermia started to set in as I huddled under a rocky overhang, soaked and shivering. I thought that was it. The end of my story. My final documentary would be my own demise, found years later by some hiker. I closed my eyes, the roar of the storm fading into a dull hum. I woke up, not to the cold, wet stone, but to warmth, a profound, radiating warmth that enveloped me. My head was pillowed on something soft, and the scent of ozone, rain, and something musky sweet filled the air. I cracked my eyes open. I was in a vast cave, sheltered from the storm. A small fire, impossibly lit, crackled nearby, and lying next to me, the source of the warmth, was the sylphwing. It was magnificent, larger than a Siberian tiger, its body covered in iridescent feathers that shifted from deep emerald to rich bronze. Its massive wings were tucked against its sides, and its head, feline and intelligent, rested on its paws. Its eyes, the color of molten gold, were watching me. There was no fear, just a deep, unnerving sense of understanding. It nudged my injured leg with its nose, a soft chuffing sound escaping its throat. The stories hadn't mentioned this. They spoke of a fearsome beast, a territorial hunter. They never spoke of its intelligence, its compassion. Over the next few days, it cared for me. It brought me fresh fish from a subterranean river and nudged a spring of clean water toward me. It would lie near the fire, its purr constant, comforting rumble that seemed to heal more than just my leg. I had come here to document a myth, to capture its existence on film and show it to the world. But now, sitting in this cave, I realized how wrong that was. To expose this creature would be to destroy it. The world would descend on this pristine wilderness, with nets and tranquilizer guns, With scientists and poachers, this sanctuary would become a cage. The Sylphwing wasn't just an animal. It was a guardian, a piece of the forests. So, it had chosen to reveal itself to me, to save me. How could I repay that kindness with betrayal? My leg healed, and the storm passed. One morning, the Sylphwing nudged me towards the cave entrance. It was time to go. It led me through winding game trails I never would have found on my own, effortlessly guiding me back toward the edge of the forest. As the familiar sounds of civilization grew closer, it stopped. It looked at me one last time, a long, searching gaze. I reached out, my hand trembling, and rested it on its feathered head. It was the briefest of touches, a silent thank you. Then, with a powerful beat of its shimmering wings, it leaped into the air and vanished above the canopy. I walked out of that forest, a different person. When I got back, I told everyone the expedition was a bust. The weather was too bad, the terrain too treacherous. I had no footage, no proof. My funders were furious. My reputation in the cryptozoology community took a nose. People called me a failure, a fraud. I let them. I became a footnote in the world of cryptid hunting, the guy who went looking for the Sylphwing and came back with nothing. But they're wrong. I came back with everything. I didn't capture a myth. I became part of one. I'm the man the Sylphwing saved. My role wasn't to be the documentarian anymore. It was to be the keeper of its secret. Sometimes, at night, I look up at the moon and wonder if it's out there, soaring through the ancient trees, and I smile, because I know its sanctuary is safe. Some stories aren't meant to be told to the world. They're meant to be lived, and then protected. And this one is mine to protect forever. Thanks for watching.